wrap up their things during the day, and they're going to be joining us in just a bit. So sit back and relax, enjoy some nahe nahe Hawaiian music, and we will probably begin in just a few minutes. Thank you for your patience, and aloha mai kako, and welcome to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs webinar series featuring the Papakilo Database and celebrating 10 years since our official launch. My name is Kale Hannes, and I'm with the Research Department at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And it's my privilege to be here to be able to share all the types of information that you can find about the database. And let's see, just so that you folks know, this presentation is being recorded for archival purposes and future promotion of the Papakilo database and ʻUluʻulu, who is our featured presenter today. Um, Also, at the end of this presentation, for those of you who are tuning in on Zoom, we would appreciate you filling out the survey at the end so we can kind of tell us how great we did, or tell us what we need to work on, tell us what types of information you would like to hear from us in the future, so we can kind of tailor that to our future webinars and future presentations as well. If you do have any questions throughout the course of this presentation, if you're on Zoom, please feel free to put it in the chat or in the question and answer section. And if you're on Facebook, we're monitoring that as well. So you can put it in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get those out to you. We have a wonderful presenter who is a good friend of mine. Her name is Janelle Curante, and we'll be bringing her on in just a little bit. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us. We are going to dive right in and kind of give you a background and kind of a genesis as to why we are doing this and why we are doing this presentation today. The Papakilo database is celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, and we've really come a long way since its inception. And through the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, how it kind of all started was one of the things that we do as a quasi-state agency acting on behalf of Native Hawaiian interests is compliance reviews. Now, those are environmental assessments, cultural impact statements, and so on and so forth. Section 106, anytime there's development or big projects that are done within the state and abroad that have Hawaiian interests in mind, um, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is included in that communication and kept in the loop throughout the progress of that project or development. Now, one of the things that we started realizing is that a lot of the work that our staff did was not only read through these huge reports, we also did our own research. We ended up going to the Bishop Museum. We ended up going to the State Archives, Bureau of Conveyance, and doing our own research and kind of getting a full view of what actually the project entails and how those impacts, how that may or may not impact the interests of Native Hawaiians. So we basically decide, how can we pose a question to ourselves, how can we become a lot more efficient and effective in how we deal with these reports, these compliance reviews. And so what we did was we started dreaming about what we could have access to. Of course, we have our environmental assessments and the cultural assessments, impact statements, but we also decide, we also rely upon a lot of historical documents. So there's the whole digitization of those documents. And the next step is to see how you can scan those documents and make those available to search. So we explored that. We started looking at other reports, historic maps, statistics. And our kupuna, they were so brilliant. They left so many breadcrumbs, if you will, for us along the way. So those breadcrumbs of what happened back then are located within Hawaiian language newspapers, the mele, the oli, the songs and chant, the mo'olelo, the stories, wind names, rain names, place names, and even images, which speak way more than 1,000 words. So all of these things we're thinking, what if we had access to that all at our fingertips? Audio and visual, so many groups have done kupuna interviews and oral history stories. So how can we really tie all of that in? And then on top of that, throw a GIS system, a geographic information system into that. And so what the end result of that was, after a couple of years of research and development, starting in 2007, we finally went live in 2011. The result of that was the Papakilo Database. Now, Papa means, in Hawaiian, it means a foundation, and kilo means to seek out or to search. So the idea behind the name, really embodying what this database does, is it's that foundational piece that serves as a platform for us to seek out and search things, especially things having to do with Ike Hawaii or things Hawaiian. So what we did is we reached out to the community and started making partnerships with various community archival organizations. And what we've been able to accomplish is providing to not only OHA staff, but the general public, a database of databases made up of various collections pertaining to historically and culturally significant places, events, and documents throughout the time of Hawaii. And that will be, once again, that's accessible to not only OHA staff, but to the general public and our beneficiaries as well. I mentioned that 2007 was when we did a lot of research in how to put all of these things together. And it's really difficult if you think about how can you make like Mahele records kind of fit in the same sandbox, or play well in the same sandbox with whaling ship records, and how do you tie that into newspaper records, and the list goes on. So through the help of DL Consulting, our contractor, who's really been more than accommodating to all of our requests, we conducted extensive testing. We've done extensive modifications, upgrades, and revamps of the whole website, and we finally went live on April 4th, 2011. And when we went live, we thought we were so awesome, because we thought that, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And you know what? in essence, it was. I think there was ʻUluʻulu that was already out already, as well as a couple other fledgling database or sites that have unfortunately gone by the wayside due to lack of funding and lack of visitation. However, when we launched, we through the backing of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, we had 7 partnering organizations, 13 collections representing almost about 500,000 records. And the what stands the test of time is people's use of the database, because from the day that we launched to this day, more than 10 years later, the main searches that people conduct within this database have to do with the Hawaiian language newspapers or the Nupepa. They do Mahele records research. Mahele records details the privatization of land in the 1840s and 1850s, and people are looking for their mo'okuauhau, their genealogy, their kupuna. They're looking for everything. And so those searches were prominent back then, and they are still the #1 searches that are conducted nowadays, 10 years later. And we have grown from those 13 collections. We now have 70 collections with more on the way. We have over, actually also perhaps closer to 1.2 million records. And from 7 partnering organizations, we're now up to 18. And we have a backlog of community archives that are just waiting to be able to work with us. So we're really anxious to be able to assist them in helping them better curate and be stewards of their own collections, their unique collections. But it also helps them build capacity in how they deal with their constituents and how they deal with their beneficiaries or the communities that they serve. So here are some numbers as far as the reach. And mind you, this is during this 10-year period, we rarely did any type of promotion. We focused a lot on the back-end development. We focused a lot on creating partnerships within the community. We focused a lot on making those, getting things up online. And so as a result of that, the promotion side kind of was falling behind. So as part of our 10-year anniversary, we decided not only to celebrate the 10 years of Papakilo being live, but celebrate the partnerships that we've created and the data that is now available. And so far within those 10 years, without very much promotion, we've had almost 5.5 million page views. And people are tuning in, logging in by word of mouth from all over. There's been about 306,000 unique visitors, not only from Hawaii, but we have our brothers, cousins, sisters, our ohana from the mainland, California and Washington and Oregon, even as far as New York and Texas. We also have people logging in from Aotearoa, New Zealand, Japan, and even Europe, Switzerland, Germany, London. We get hits from all across the globe. And we're really hoping to grow those numbers, and that's why this promotional piece is kind of in effect, if you will. And like I said, from day 1 to day how much ever 10 plus years later, people are searching for their kupuna and genealogy. They're looking for newspaper information. They're looking for Mahele records. So to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, we did a little revamp of the homepage. And you'll see that we really highlighted those searches that people want to do. So people like to search by location. They like to search their genealogy, Mahele records, and newspapers. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. But if you look on the right-hand side under the latest news page, on the latest news margin on the right-hand side, you'll kind of see our mo'okuauhau. When you're going to an area that you don't know, the traditional cultural, I guess, protocol would be to kind of announce who you are, where you come from, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of what we've done in a more modern technology way. If you scroll down that latest news list, you'll see from the day we launched to each day announcing what collections are now available, who we have partnerships with, little things here and there, and that could be considered our own little mo'okuauhau or our little genealogy on the right-hand side. So As part of the revamp, we also revamped the search by location, which was the top banner, search by location. This is an interactive map, and with the help of Zach Smith, who is our GIS specialist and the manager of the Kipuka database, and with our consultant of DL Consulting, we've been able to draw upon Kipuka information and make this map very engageable to the users. And this is one of the reasons why. I'm going to give you an example. So if you were to ever do research, say on Waimea, a lot of people might just type in Waimea to the search term, but there's actually three, to my mind, three Waimeas come to mind. You know, Waimea on Hawaii Island, Waimea on Hawaii on Oahu, and Waimea on the island of Kauai. So this is kind of an interactive way that allows people to say, okay, you know, I want to do research on Waimea Oahu, and instinctively they will kind of zoom in on Oahu, find Waimea and click on that, and then they can type in a search term. So it's all about providing these little functions that allows the user to really be able to use the database in the best way that they can and how it's meant to be. Search by collection is another page that we have revamped. You'll say, he said 70 collections. It doesn't look like there's 70 collections. Well, a lot of these collections appear when under drop-down menus. So if I were to click on the Bishop Museum collections, I click on that, and then boom, there's going to be like 5 or 6 collections that appear. So we've really tried to streamline it, make not a lot of information readily available, so it's inundating or intimidating, but at the same time, it's a great resource that utilizes and allows you to pick through all the different collections that we've been able to forge partnerships with throughout the years. Speaking of partnerships and speaking of collections, it is my pleasure to introduce Janelle Kurante from the Digital Moving Archive of Hawaii, which is called ʻUluʻulu. They're located out in West Oahu. She is the head archivist, and we were just kind of reminiscing prior to going live about how long we've been working together. And I would say that they've been kind of in that second tier, just after the top 7 partners that we started working with. I think they're right around that point. But it's been a long time. So Janelle, if you'd like to log on now, then we can kind of have you join in, and I'll stop the share on my side, and then you can kind of start the share on your side, and we can get her presentation underway. Once again, for those of you joining us a little bit late in this presentation, welcome. This is the Papakilo webinar series focusing on the different collections that are housed within Papakilo database as a part of our 10-year anniversary. This presentation is being recorded, just so you know, and there is a survey at the end of the presentation that allows you to fill out. If you fill that out, then it allows us to really gauge how we're doing, and you can give us high marks on what a wonderful presentation we have, and how Kalehana should get a raise for OHA, and all that, and Janelle should get a raise, and everybody should get a raise. And I digress. But if you do have any questions as well, feel free to put it in the chat or the question and answer on Zoom. Or if you're viewing on the Facebook Live feed, just put it in the comments over there, and I'll do my best to kind of monitor that and interject those questions during certain key periods or during certain breaks. But I know we can't hear the audience right now, but I'm sure they're going to be clapping. There's thunderous applause for you, Janelle. So why don't you go ahead and take it from here?
Thank you, Kale. And thanks everybody for joining us tonight. And I'm so happy that you are all interested in learning a little bit more about ʻUluʻulu Moving Image Archive. Like Kale mentioned, my name is Janelle Karante, and I am the head archivist of ʻUluʻulu. And I just wanted to also say congratulations to the Papakilo database on celebrating 10 years. I was just, like Kale said, reminiscing about how we first started working together as partners, as a partner organization for the Papakilo database. And I am so proud to be in such good company with other collections that are also searchable and accessible through Papakilo. And I am really, really looking forward to the next 10 years and continuing ʻUluʻulu's involvement with the Papakilo database and providing moving image content that users can search, can view, and can find through Papakilo, find ʻUluʻulu through that website. And of course, continuing to work very closely with Kale to continue the good job and good work of saving and sharing Hawaii's cultural heritage that is held in archives. So I will start my presentation, and feel free to add any questions to the comments. Kale is really good at interrupting me with any questions, and I'm always happy to answer. So like I said, ʻUluʻulu is the official state archive for moving images, and we are located on the campus of UH West Oahu in Kapolei. This image that you see on the screen is of our beautiful campus. ʻUluʻulu is located in the library, which is the building that has that painted tower that you can see in the image. And if you're wondering, I'm actually at home. I'm not really sitting in the vault in the archive right now, but the picture in my background is an image from inside our vault at the archive, where we store all of the videotapes and film reels in our collections. Let's see. So what I'll be talking about tonight is just a brief overview of ʻUluʻulu, the work that we do, and a few facts about us. I'll also do a demonstration of our website and how people can search both the Papakilo database to find content in ʻUluʻulu's collections, and also how to search ʻUluʻulu's website to also find video and film materials. And like Kale said, we've been working together for a very long time, including working on a current preservation project for the Papakilo database. And so I'll share a few highlights from our current project working with Papakilo. But first, I wanted to start by sharing a short promotional video that ʻUluʻulu produced in celebration of Papakilo's 10-year anniversary.
ʻUluʻulu was built on friendships, relationships, partnerships, and trust. With partners like the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, we succeed every day. And so does the Papakilo database, as it continues its good work, collecting data and sharing data. Information that educates while supporting the work of ʻUluʻulu, Hawaii's moving image archive. It is how we were founded and how we grow. Caring for Hawaii's treasures for our community.
So that was just a short preview of and examples of footage that we have in our collection. As I mentioned before, as the State Archive for Moving Images, our goal is to collect and preserve and digitize moving image material, all related to the history and culture of Hawaii. Our name ʻUluʻulu means collections, assembly, or gathering, and I feel like that's a very appropriate name for the type of work that we do, as well as our mission. which is to perpetuate and share the rich moving image heritage of Hawaii through the preservation of film and videotape related to the history and culture of Native Hawaiians and the people of Hawaii. The work that we do, I'm the only one presenting tonight representing ʻUluʻulu, but I do want to acknowledge that it definitely is not the work of one person. It always takes a team. And I'm so happy that I have such a strong team working with me behind the scenes at ʻUluʻulu to make our collections available. And so here are some of the friendly faces. Many times people do research through our digital collections, through email, through phone, and especially now during COVID, we don't have people coming in person into the archives right now. And so it's always nice to know that there is a friendly, smiling face on the other end of the line, happy and willing to help with any and all research requests. And specifically, I wanted to point out Sydney, who is our current project assistant on our OHA Papakilo grant project right now. So a lot of the work that I will be highlighting later in the project is due to Sydney's hard work. So a lot of times people ask me, what is a moving image archive? How is a moving image archive different from a traditional paper material-based archive? And I always like to say it is very, very similar. It's just the type of media and materials that we work with are film and video, and not necessarily paper, photographs, things like that. And as an archive, we do a lot of the same activities as other archives do in terms of collection management, preservation, cataloging, and access. And so the work that we do follows those professional standards of archive and of the archive profession. But we do that work on the moving image materials in our care, so all of the films and videotapes. And our collection scope is just by the numbers. Right now, we have 70 permanent collections, over 50,000 videotapes and films. Out of those videotapes and films, about 6,000 reels have been digitized, 2,800 hours of footage, 260 terabytes of digital preservation files. We have over 3,000 catalog records and clips online on our website. And on the Papakilo Database website, we have 957 catalog records and clips. And we are partners, and Papakilo is continuing to add content every day. And so I will not be surprised when these numbers continue to increase. And here's just a few of the collections that we do have in our care. And because we focus on materials produced and related to Hawaii, you'll see that our collections come from Hawaii television stations, from media organizations, from community groups, as well as filmmakers and individual families. And the overall scope is that all of these materials relate to the culture and history of Hawaii. A lot of the work that we do revolves around preservation. As an archive, we want to make sure that the collections in our care last forever if we can, but as long as we can preserve them. And with moving images, with films and videotapes, some of those challenges in terms of preservation all have to do with technology. I'm sure a lot of people, everybody remembers having a VHS deck at home where you could record stuff off the TV, and then having a DVD player after your VHS player broke. But those, just as video technology changes over time, that becomes a huge challenge for us as an archive, because all of those old tapes, examples of the tapes you see behind me, we still need to find the machines to play them back so that we can transfer them to a digital format so that people can watch them on their computers and online. And some other preservation challenges, of course, Hawaii is very hot and humid. And so that environment can accelerate the physical degradation and decay of the materials in our care. And speaking of digitization, this is just kind of an overview of how we make footage available online. Because all of the footage is recorded on obsolete videotape formats or film formats, the best way to make that footage available and accessible is by digitizing it. And so we take those analog reels, digitize them, save those digital files on our server, and then we are able to make those digital videos available for people to view through our website and catalog. And some more access and outreach. Our main public access point is our website, uluʻulu.hawaii.edu. I'll do a demo a little bit later so you can see how our collections can be searched and viewed on our website. And as well as our website and online catalog, we also do, for access and outreach, an annual screening, archival night screening at the Hawaii International Film Festival. OHA has been a partner with us on previous screenings at HIF. And we also have lectures and different presentations and events inside our exhibit area inside the library. With COVID, our public space has been closed for the past year, but we're really looking forward to returning to campus and starting to have public events again as things become more safe to do so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quit out of my presentation and go back to go to the Papakilo Database website and demonstrate how you can find ʻUluʻulu content through the Papakilo search engine. So hopefully that screen is good. So here's the Papakilo Database homepage. And I wanted to point out the search by collection feature. Clicking on that, I think you saw this as a image on Kale's presentation, but here's all of the collections and partners that have content available through Papakilo Database, and ʻUluʻulu is here at the bottom. If you select ʻUluʻulu, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and click the search bar without typing in a search term, because what that will do is bring up all of the items in ʻUluʻulu's collection that can be viewed and searched through Papakilo. And right now there are 957 results. And you can scroll through these if you weren't, exactly sure what you're looking for. You can just kind of get a sense of what is available. Clicking on this icon here brings up some descriptive and technical information about this record, 11th Maui County Fair from 1928. Clicking on the ʻUluʻulu icon brings up that same record on ʻUluʻulu's website. And once you bring up that same record on ʻUluʻulu's website, this is where you can read the same descriptive information that was on Papakilo, but in addition, you can also view a short clip of the digitized video footage. Our website has short clips for each record, and just to give people who are searching our website a preview of what the content looks like. But there are ways that you can request to view the full-length footage, and I'll show you a little bit how to do that a little bit later in this presentation. But I just wanted to show you how, starting from Papakilo, clicking on the ʻUluʻulu icon will lead you directly to that same record and a sample video on ʻUluʻulu's website. Going back to Papakilo, I still have ʻUluʻulu selected as the collection that I'm doing my searches in. So in that case, you can also do a search by keyword. So I'm just going to type in makaha as my search term. conducting that search brings up 7 results that contain the word makaha in ʻUluʻulu's collections. And so you can see there's interviews, there's a concert, there's a First Friday episode, and all of these results come up because the word makaha appears somewhere either in the title or in the description of this footage. And so I'll just click on this one, Island Music, Island Hearts, the Makaha Sons of Niihau. Again, clicking on this icon in Papakilo shows you descriptive information, a summary, some more technical information like the duration and whether it's black and white or color. And then clicking on the ʻUluʻulu icon directly brings you to the same record on ʻUluʻulu's website, where you can watch a preview clip of the video. Every clip has this copyright warning at the beginning.
Live from the Channel 9 studio.
And it's just a way for us to remind people that the footage in our collections may be protected by copyright.
Studios, KGMB Television presents Island Music, Island Hearts, starring the Makaha Sons of Niihau. Tonight's show is sponsored in part by Pioneer Better, the bank where you belong, and Skylogger, New Zealand's finest beer. Had one yet?
Sorry, I always get, I would love to watch videos all day long, and I always, love watching especially musical performances in our collections. But that's just another example of a preview clip. Let me go back to my presentation. And so this is what we just did. We browsed and we did a keyword search on Papakilo Database. And now I'm just going to kind of show you how you can do similar searches on ʻUluʻulu's website. And the procedure is pretty much the same. You go to ʻUluʻulu's website, uluʻulu.hawaii.edu. You can search using keywords. It'll bring up a results list. You can watch the preview clip, like I just showed you. And then in addition, you can request to view the full length footage by contacting an archivist, registering as a researcher with us, and then we provide you a link to our streaming server so that you can view the full length footage. So I'll just show you on our website how you can do that. So say you did the same search, Makaha on ʻUluʻulu's website. On our website, I'll just point out every page has this search bar at the top of the page. And so you can be anywhere on our website and always be able to conduct a keyword search just like I did here. So typing in your search term brings up a results list with thumbnails, sort of like YouTube. You do a search in YouTube and you get thumbnails of different videos that are related to that search. And clicking on any of these thumbnails would get you to that video content. So I'll just go back to the same record we were looking at before. And so from this page, you can watch a short clip as a preview of the footage. You can read a description about what's happening in the footage. But say you want to watch the whole thing, it's an awesome concert. You can see that it's an hour long and there's only 5 minutes available online. And so you can do that. There is a way to request access to the full length footage. And to do that, at the bottom of every page on our website, there's a button that says Ask an Archivist. If you click on that, it brings you up to this contact form where you can just type in your name, your email, and then your question. So your question could be, I'd like to see the full length footage of the episode of Island Music, Island Hearts featuring the Makaha Sons of Niihau. Submitting that form sends an email directly to our reference archivist, Tisha. And Tisha tries to answer every email that we get within 24 hours. If you email her over the weekend, she'll try to get back to you by Monday. And what that happens then is that she'll work with you so that you can register as a researcher. Just fill out some basic information. It's one form. And with that registration, that gives you access to our streaming server where you can watch full-length programs and not just the short video clips that are on our website. So that's what we did. We started our search. We did a keyword search for Makaha. We got the results list of all of those thumbnails that showed the different videos that were related to Makaha. We selected the title. On the title page, we were able to read some description about it and watch the short clip. At the bottom of the page, clicking Ask an Archivist allows you to fill out this contact form, which you can do to request access to the full-length footage. Registering as a researcher with this one simple form gives you access to our streaming server where you can watch the video that you requested full length online. And I do want to point out that if you are a teacher or an instructor, we also do course reserves. So if you find video content on our website or in our collections that you think would be helpful for your classes and for your curriculum, we can provide access to footage for a semester or for a few weeks, however long you need your students to be able to watch that footage. So we are happy to do course reserves for situations like that. Okay, so now I just wanted to turn a little bit to talking about our current project, our current preservation project that we're working with in partnership with OHA and the Papakilo Database. And we've been working on this current project for the past 3 years, and we're just wrapping up the final work on this. And this project was to preserve and digitize original recordings from the 1970s to the 1990s. And so far, these numbers may change since we're not quite finished with the project, but so far we've digitized 532 videotapes. This is 298 hours of footage, over 30 terabytes of preservation files. And as part of this project, currently we have 298 titles with clips online. And these are the titles that we focused on for this project. Those 532 tapes came from our Merry Monarch Festival collection. They also include a television program called Treasures, which was highlighting collections at the Bishop Museum. Pauhana Years, which was broadcast on PBS Hawaii for many years, highlighting Hawaii seniors and stories that related to Hawaii senior community. Legacy of Light, a KITV program, and Holo Mai Pele, a documentary that is part of our Pacific Islanders and Communications collection. And as part of this project, we digitized all of the raw footage that was shot for that documentary. And just checking on time. So I'll just show you a little bit highlights from Pauhana Years. This is one of the programs that we were able to digitize as part of this current project with Papakilo. So again, typing in your keyword search Pauhana Years. So with this program, we have 192 titles and clips online, and each of these was a single episode from this long-running program that started in the 1970s. And similar to the Island Music, Island Hearts record, same thing. You can click on any of these thumbnails. You can read a description about the footage and about this particular episode. And you can also watch a short clip. And if you want to watch the full-length program, once again, clicking on Ask an Archivist will bring you to the contact form where you can make that request.
Hi, Janelle. I'm going to jump in right now, and it seems like you're doing such a fantastic job. There are no questions or comments within the comment sections, but to kind of pose a question that was somebody asked of us on Friday when we did the same presentation. Somebody asked, why would there be content on Papakilo, or why would there be content on the ʻUluʻulu page that is not included within Papakilo? You want to take that, or you want me to answer that?
You can go first, and then I'll add on to whatever
Okay.
to your answer.
So people who are joining in, our attendees, whether you're on Facebook or in Zoom, the question came in on Friday because there is a discrepancy as far as Papakilo has access to a limited amount of, or limited collections within ʻUluʻulu, and that's just because of the fact that due to our budget constraints, or we were only able to negotiate for access to, or get licenses to disseminate out certain collections, and they are fantastic collections, I will say. But it was always envisioned that Papakilo is kind of like a spider web. So if we don't have access to something, we'll hopefully point you in the right direction to where you can. And it's just the way that research is done sometimes. You know, you start off on a path and you access something within ʻUluʻulu, and then it kicks you over to their site, and then there's a whole other bunch of information that you may have access to. So for those of you who may be wondering whether you're tuning in on Facebook or Zoom, that's why there is a little bit differences. And that's really also why everybody, when they're doing research, we need to do our due diligence. We can't be limited to what's on the first page, the search results on the first page of Google, or what's on the first search page of search results for Papakilo as well. You know, there's a lot of research techniques and tips and tricks that you can do to really fine tune and get to what you want. So I'll leave it at that. And then Janelle, did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that I think one of the great benefits, or probably the best benefit, of partnering with Papakilo Database, even though the numbers are a little bit different of how many videos you can access on Papakilo versus how many videos you can access on ʻUluʻulu. The great thing is that I know that there are researchers out there who know about Papakilo, are very comfortable doing searches through Papakilo Database, and who may not know anything about ʻUluʻulu. So, so it's great that having as many access points as possible to our collection just helps to serve the needs of researchers who may feel more comfortable searching one type of database versus another. And it just introduces people to, like Kale said, a whole wider collection that may be available elsewhere that they would not otherwise have known about if we didn't have any content on Papakilo Database at all.
Right. And so, I also want to pose this other question to you, and that I'm sure a couple of our attendees might be wondering as well. So, because I found myself questioning this during your presentation. So, how do you obtain your collections, and is there like a certain process that people need to go through? I know that you've mentioned defunct organizations or even established institutions have contributed or donated their media to you folks, but also you folks also have some stuff from private collections as well. So if somebody is out there that is wondering, okay, how would I actually approach you guys and see if you're interested in what I have, and so on and so forth, what would be the process for that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really, really great question. So we do actively and continue to actively collect new collections to be part of ʻUluʻulu's permanent collections. And the list I showed before runs the gamut of TV stations, media organizations. But in answer to Kale's question, if you are an individual and you have a collection, maybe it's family home movies, maybe you are a filmmaker and you produced a program and now you have all of the master tapes that you are thinking should be in an archive. What the process is, you can contact me directly. If I'll show you my email address at the end of the presentation. We even get contacts from that same Ask an Archivist submission form from people who find our website and just submit a request through that online form saying that they have materials that they're interested in donating. And what I will do is talk to you, find out a little bit more about the collection, find out if it fits the scope of ʻUluʻulu. And then we go through the process of signing what we call the donor agreement or a deed of gift that kind of explains the rights that the collection donor has as the content creator of the footage, as well as explains the responsibilities that ʻUluʻulu has as the caretaker of that collection. And so what we work in working very closely with the people who donate film material or video material is that the first thing is that I want to make sure that people intend their collection to be made available for public research, because anything that comes into ʻUluʻulu, we do the same process. We digitize it, we catalog it, and we make clips available online. So as long as people want that for their collections, then that is the starting point where we start talking about the donor agreement, about returning digital files, about the preservation and the preservation work that we do on collections, and then ʻUluʻulu can bring the materials to the archive, have it stored safely in our vault, like you see behind me, and then we start the work of preservation and digitization to make it available through our website and potentially also through Papakilo Database. So short answer, email me if you have a collection that you're interested in donating, and then I can work with you directly to make that happen.
Thank you, Janelle.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I just have a few more slides to finish out my presentation. Oh, actually just one more slide. So that was good timing, Kale, to ask those questions. So I just wanted to end by showing a highlight reel, another highlight reel of some footage and collections that we were able to digitize in 2020. Each year, we were able to digitize about 300 hours of footage. Like I said, we've got a very hardworking staff that loves their jobs, and so we just try to make that footage digitized and available as much as we can. And so I just want to share a short clip, highlight reel of the collections that we worked on last year.
Everybody get together to clap their hands and sing this song now. Yesterday, yesterday, me cha cha cha. Yesterday, yesterday, me cha cha cha. Yesterday, yesterday, me cha cha cha. Hachi music, mano.
Like a fledgling bird taken from its nest, Paea did not dream this parting would take him far, far away from his valley world and from the warm bosom of Kekunui Alemoku.
Participation in the bicentennial observance at Pu'ukohola did not end with the 1991 event. Rather, it became a place to gather, a rallying point that has inspired hundreds every year since then to return to Kalaihai to reaffirm ancestral ties.
Literally the birth of the earth occurring before our very eyes. Pele creates, destroys, and creates again. It is the cycle of Hawaiian volcanoes.
We figured that the longer they held up, the weaker we're going to be. But we came just the opposite. We came stronger and stronger as the days went by because we had more people supporting us from outside. They figured that our issue was correct. Equal pay for equal work.
So I thought about some unique design. What am I gonna do? Especially in a time when this wasn't a popular thing to do. But it's something that I had this yearning, this desire to be alike with my ancestors, to connect. So I decided to do this tattoo of birds.
So that's it. Thank you again for joining. My information is here on the screen, my email, as well as ʻUluʻulu's website. So I'm happy to answer any questions either now or via email if you think of something later.
Oh, we had a couple of questions that came in. Thank you, Janelle, once again for that brilliant presentation. I hope that the people who are tuning in have learned a lot about what ʻUluʻulu does. And in fact, I think we've inspired someone because there was a comment on the Facebook page asking what if we wanted to volunteer? How would they be able to kind of get in touch with you in that sense? Is that something where they would just email you and then you folks work out a schedule and so on and so forth?
Yeah, email me. It's been a little tough with COVID and not being able to have volunteers and students and interns work with us in person. But we do have some opportunities. We have some description opportunities, potentially some transcription opportunities, but definitely email me your interests and I can respond and we can try to work something out.
As a fellow database person, we're always looking for people to contribute through either data mining or data entry and even transcription, which is a bunch. So I can really appreciate that as well. But given the fact that we are a little challenged right now with COVID and the restrictions that are upon us, we definitely do not want to discourage anybody from reaching out to us and offering to kokua with volunteer work. But if maybe not, this month or next month, there's always time down the line, because as Janelle and I are very familiar with, is that the success that we've been able to achieve through our partnerships, through providing this information to our beneficiaries, has actually given us a lot more work to do. So
we love it. We love it.
yes. I do love it. We have a couple people saying great presentation. Mahalo nui for the presentation. We had a question on the Facebook, on the Zoom chat from Lisa. So I'm just going to read it out. She said, "This is such a great resource. As Kali mentioned, many Papakilo users are community members doing genealogy of their ohana and others. I'm sure this would this would be a great resource for Ohana looking for another type of information. I'm wondering, what are the criteria to be considered a researcher?
So anybody, our collections are open to the public. People ask me if they need to be a UH affiliate or a UH student, but you do not. Anybody can search our website, just like I demonstrated tonight. As long as you have an internet connection and go to our website, you can conduct searches and watch brief clips on our website. To view the full-length footage and registering as a researcher, we just ask for your contact information, as well as a brief description of your research project. And so we just keep that information in our records so that we know who is accessing the full-length footage, but there is no eligibility requirements. We are open to anybody who is interested in conducting research at the archive. One thing I will say though is if you are a teacher of like elementary or middle school students, I think our search process is a little bit complex or a little bit complicated for students of that age. So I recommend that, you know, high school students and above can, it's pretty easy to conduct research individually. But if you are helping students of a younger age, I would encourage either the parents conduct the research or their teachers conduct the research and then share that information with the younger students.
Oh, thank you for your complete answer on that one, Janelle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:30. We said that we were going to end at 7:30. Janelle and I will stay on for just a little bit longer in case you have any questions. And even if you think of questions that you may have or comments after this, feel free to email both of us and we'll do our best to get back to you on that. But we're going to stay on for just a little bit longer if anybody has any more questions. Once again, please fill out the survey so that we get a really good idea of how we're doing, what types of content you would like to hear about in the future. And mahalo for tuning into this Papakilo webinar series. We really appreciate it. Next month, we will be focusing on the Hawaiian language newspapers. And I have some dates. If you just give, I should have been a little bit more prepared, but basically we will be doing a workshop on, I believe it is, let me see. We're going to be bringing in the group from ʻUluʻulu, and that's going to be featuring Kauʻisai Dudwa and Dr. Puakea Nogameyer. And they're going to be presenting next month on the Hawaiian language newspapers and the value of that and how to conduct searches. So let me see. Okay, mark your calendars. It's good. I'll just actually slide this over. This actually works this way. So the next presentations are going to be, let's see, July 16th and July 19th, and that will be on the Hawaiian language newspapers. So that's going to be very interesting. Also, August 6th and August 9th, we will be featuring ʻUluʻulu once again, Dr. Puakea Nogameyer, Kauʻisai Dudwa, and they'll be talking about the Hawaiian National Bibliographies and the collections that we were able to obtain when we went on a fact-finding mission to the East Coast, specifically at the National Archives, Library of Congress, and the museums in Boston and Harvard University. So before everybody leaves and digs out, I just want to give my aloha to Janelle and ʻUluʻulu for being here. Also want to give a mahalo to the Board of Trustees of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and our leadership who has supported this project and continues to support this project as we move forward to better how we serve our lahui and the general public in providing ʻike, access to ʻike of Hawaii. So mahalo nui. My name is Kale Hannes, and stick around. We're not going off air yet, but feel free to join us on one of the next things. If not, if we don't see you for a while, malama pono, take care, and aloha. Janelle, we have a question. Is there a cost per page? How does that go? So Christine, this is from Christine on our Facebook page. And I guess, Christine, if you're asking about accessing information on Papakilo, there's actually no cost to print it out. It's just the cost of whatever your printer is, whatever it costs to print paper. Some of the documents that we do have watermarks on there, so it's just identifying where the information came from. But there's, as far as Papakilo is concerned, we do not have any type of cost that we apply to our beneficiaries to print out pages. Janelle, how about you folks on your side?
Same on our side. We do not charge for our services, so people can search and view content on our website for free. Access to our collection is via our streaming server. So viewing our streaming videos is always free of charge.
Okay. I think that's it. We're just gonna, Janelle and I are gonna cruise for a little bit longer. You guys are more than welcome to, if you're not hungry, I guess. But once again, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Kale Hannes. We had Janelle Kurante from ʻUluʻulu, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, malama pono and aloha. Seems as though our Zoom attendance has dropped out, and we have a couple people straggling on Facebook. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, we just want to say a big mahalo to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to pass on the information. This is documented and up for archival purposes on OHA's Facebook page, so you can come back anytime and view it. And we just hope that you all stay safe and take care of each other. Aloha. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you. Bye.